Good evening, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project, Magnetic Reversal News, Sacred Geography, and Shinrin Yoku. Bringing you a grand solar minimum update, Wednesday, January 18th, 7:30 p.m. Mountain Time 2023. We had a large earthquake today, 7 magnitude in Indonesia. No tsunami warning or threat. The big story, powerful winter storm causes massive highway pileup as heavy snow blankets the plains and the Midwest. Keep calm, it's boom time. Winter storm warnings extend from Denver metro area and northeastern Colorado into Nebraska, southeastern South Dakota, northwestern Iowa, southern Minnesota, and northwestern Wisconsin. A major winter storm that dropped snow in the Denver metro area, which was the largest dump in over 3 decades, early Wednesday morning, has now moved into the plains, where more than a foot of snow is expected to fall before the system spins into the upper Midwest. Take a look at I-70 and the Strasburg closure. Stay away. This is going to take a while. And I don't even think it was like more than a second, that video. It's a little jiffy. But what we will do is retweet it to the Oppenheimer Ranch Project, where you should be following us, but we'll get to some great footage at the end of the show. Ho-ho, winter storm blankets the plains in the Midwest, but we'll leave many in the Northeast snowless, and we will get to the forecast in just a moment. We're talking about the major cities there. 2 rounds of snow will bring 4 to 8 inches of region-wide snow in northern New York and Vermont, and these are multiple systems, and winter storm watches have been issued ahead of the Thursday night debacle. Wednesday updates. Snow is prompting road closures in Colorado all over the place. We got dumped on. If you watched our earlier video earlier today, Interstate 70 got closed in both directions, Denver to Kansas, including Interstate 76, Colorado Highway 14, Highway 52, Highway 59, Highway 23, Highway 6, U.S. Highway 385 from Julesburg to Ray, Colorado Highway 138, and probably more. Al Gore's a bore. Shut up, Al! He got bunt cake. Storm weakens, but still brings significant snow to Colorado, including the largest total in January in Denver in 31 years. Here's where the Northern California reservoir levels stand after weeks of rain, and it's looking good.
A lot of people ask us about the reservoirs, and let me show you the good news here. Let's start with Shasta, Lake Shasta, the biggest reservoir in the state, 4.5 million acre feet. As of today, it stands at 52% of total capacity. A year ago, it was at 34%. That is good news, but I've got better news here. What we did see in the last month is you could take a full Folsom Lake and dump it into Shasta, and that's what we did. And the lake is higher than it was at any point last year. Not just higher than it was a year ago, but now it is higher than it was at any point last year. And of course, it continues to come up, and there's a lot of snowpack. You find the same thing at Oroville, where today it's at 58% of capacity. A year ago it was at 44%. As of today, it is higher than it was at any point last year. And here too, in the last month, we added about 1 million acre feet. And there's still more room to grow, and there's a lot that's going to come down the Feather River to help keep filling that up. Now, Folsom, of course, is right around where we were last year, but Folsom is already into flood control mode, so they're letting water out there, balancing, because we still have a lot of the year to go. Folsom will be full by the time we get to May. No worries about that. The one that is a concern is New Melones. This holds 2.5 million acre feet, 2.4 million acre feet, and it's actually slightly lower than it was a year ago. The watershed here is quite a bit smaller, so you don't see as big of inflows. I think we'll see this come up pretty nicely, but again, that is one that may not get full by the time.
Well, that looks like some fantastic information coming out from California about, well, it's looking like almost all of the reservoirs are going to be full. Now, recent rain at Lake Mead gives respite to dwindling water levels. What say you? Here, let's come over and take a look. They've reset to the new year, but we can see since December 2nd, Lake Mead has risen quite considerably and is now sitting on January 18th at 1,045.75, which is about 6 feet above the low happening back in the summer. So Lake Mead is rising. Good news. Multi-hazard storm poised to impact the central and the southern U.S. A multi-hazard winter storm is expected to intensify over the Central Plains today and progress downstream towards the Great Lakes on Thursday. A swath of heavy snow and transitory zone with a wintry mix is expected from the Central Plains to the upper Mississippi Valley and the Great Lakes. Severe thunderstorms and heavy rain are possible from the lower Mississippi Valley into the Ohio River Valley. There are winter storm watches and warnings out from Nebraska to northern Iowa, southern Minnesota, southern Wisconsin, Minnesota, and we've got some winter storm watches in northern Michigan, as well as the Northeast, where this storm is going to clip through in just a few days. Take a look. There's multiple events, and the total snow is looking, well, quite epic. Let's see if we can get this back here. All right, let's walk it through. Here's your Thursday through Friday, and you could see that storm moving through the Midwest, upper Midwest, the Central Plains, Nebraska, Iowa, Thursday into Friday morning. That will hit Michigan by Friday morning and then begin to move its way into the Northeast. Just a small totals from this system as it moves through the Northeast. Could be picking up to a foot of snow here in eastern or western Iowa and northeastern Nebraska, as well as the tip of Michigan and parts of, the cheese factory over there. But take a look. We're going to be picking up also 10, maybe a foot of snow in Vermont, New Hampshire, and upstate New York. And then here on Monday and Tuesday, that's your lose day, a blast will come up into the Northeast, bringing heavy snow to the Appalachians, from the southern Appalachians all the way up through Maine. It's insane. And that could be dumping up to 2 feet of snow. Totals are showing 18 plus. And then another system sweeps through here Tuesday, Wednesday, January 25th into the 6th at the end of the month, just adding insult to injury. So we're seeing and then boom, look at this at the end of the month, another system that could tilt the records here. When it hits white, that means over 4 feet of snow for upstate New York, the lake effect regions, portions of Pennsylvania, Vermont, New Hampshire, Connecticut, holy macaroni, and Maine. It's insane. So we could be seeing 5 or 6 states here in New England with 4+ feet of snow by the time we hit February 1st. And that's going to be boom time. Afghans braving severe cold face stark choice, food or warmth. Many provinces in Afghanistan have seen an exceptionally cold winter, with temperatures dropping as low as minus 21 degrees Celsius, and this is far against the normal in the region. Polar vortex also bringing Mars-like cold to Russia. And it could hit Canada next, according to meteorologists. The temperature in Russia has dropped to ridiculous lows. A weather station in Tungula, Siberia, let me see if I can grab that for you, recorded a temperature of minus 62.4 C on January 14th, as a pocket of frigid air hovered over northern Russia. This pocket is poised to hover over there for at least 14 to 21 days, keeping temperatures averaging around minus 35 C. But this is a spike unlike any other. For reference, the temperature is only 0.3 degrees C from the average temperature of Mars, cold enough to freeze exposed skin within seconds. It is the coldest temperature Russia has recorded in 2 decades. So, global warming, much. Arctic area encases Europe. Russia's freeze intensifies. Just for context, minus 62 C is minus 80.9 Fahrenheit. That's minus 81 degrees Fahrenheit. Holy macaroni. There's record snow striking Arizona and Nevada as well. And busted the Hadcrut data, but there is tampering. So check out Cap Alon's newest release today over at Electroverse. Links will be below. Let's check out the GFS model for Europe because it's so warm there. So as we can see throughout the entire region, there will be snow moving through all of the rest of January 23rd here. We're now moving into the 24th, 25th, into the 26th and the 27th. Let's just pause it. Record snow throughout Italy, where we're talking 5 feet maybe, plus, as well as northern Spain. Snow in northern Africa. And we had some good totals in the UK, but Scotland has been the big winner chicken dinner over in the UK so far. Norway picking up, 10 feet or more as usual, and heavy snow in eastern Russia, as well as the rest of all of Europe. How's Denmark doing? Heinrichs Boyodholm. Well, I do digress. But heavy snow through the Baltics, all the way down through Italy, and so it looks like a normal pattern. Now, what we've been seeing here is a shift in seasons, where the winter season actually extends far into the spring, ding, ding. And I saw this earlier due to cycles of the ENSO and other cycles in my youth, where it snowed well into spring. Like the Northeast probably this year will be picking up a March blizzard. So that's my prediction based on experience. Now, the quake shakes East Indonesia, south of the Philippines. No tsunami warning. Good news. The U.S. Geological Survey said that the quake occurred 48 kilometers or 30 miles deep under the sea, centered 154 kilometers northwest of Tobelo. The undersea quake was felt in several provinces and cities across the Philippines, but there was no immediate reports of injury or damage. No tsunami warning issued. Well, actually, I saw a tsunami warning that said there could be local tsunamis within 300 miles of that quake. Multiple aftershocks have occurred since the quake. Here we are. We can just bring it up into view in the middle of nowhere, like swimwear. So the only effect of this quake would have been a tsunami that could have washed up and killed everyone in this region. But good news today. Weird quake happening here up in the Northern Territories, 4.1 at a very shallow depth of 7 kilometers. So that's some interesting isostatic rebound from the last ice age, apparently. And we have some quakes in the Middle East. I'm sure killed hundreds of people because they make their houses out of dirt. Worldwide volcano news update. No volcanic activity of note. Let's refresh this just in case a big boomer didn't go off. Semaru, Shivalush, Sakurajima, Sabankaya, and others all acting normal. As about 30 volcanoes are erupting worldwide. That's very low-level activity. High-level activity for volcanic activity would be 50 volcanoes or more. We've yet to get there. But it's not the number of volcanoes that matter. It is the scale. And one single VEI 7 will change humanity forever. So there is that. Space weather news update. The sun has gone quiet. The solar indices have dropped down now to 220 as far as solar flux. Very little flaring. A couple little M flares over the last 24 hours. Nothing groundbreaking. In fact, we've been almost at KP0 for 12 of the last 24 hours. So quite a few of you have been psychic. So not much going on. The sun, even though there's a major sunspot facing right at us, a huge sunspot facing right at us that could change our destiny. But not a lot of activity. And that's good news. Now, a disconnection event has occurred in Comet ZTF. Something unusual is happening to the tail of the Comet ZTF C2022E3. It is being disconnected. You can see here there's some kind of disjunct thing happening. And there is a close-up. And scientists, well, they're baffled. Now, the circumpolar comet ZTF C2022E3 is here. Forget the hype and go outside and enjoy the real thing. A relatively bright comet you can see in binoculars from a dark sky has a plasma and an ion tail. It's glowing in multiple phases and is just spectacularific. Look at the wiggles and the jiggles. And the electric nature of the vortices in the Birkeland current emanating off the back of that tail. Fantastic. Here we can see a map of Comet ZTF C2022E3. Named the Zwicky Transient Facility, a public-private partnership based in Caltech, has mapped this baby through the rest of January into February. So we're sitting at January 18th down here at the beginning of the graphic, and you can see the position of comet ZTFC 2022 E3 day after day all the way through February 4th on this graphic. Let's blow it up. Why not? And there it is. So all these links will be below for you to peruse at your own time. Now, more nonsense. Greenland's ice cores show the clear signature of global warming. So does Greta's manufactured arrest. That is the clear sign of global warming. Now, according to this paper and beautiful pictures of melting ice, a sharp spike in Greenland's temperature since 1995 showed the giant northern island 2.7 degrees hotter than its 20th century average, which, according to expert climate scientists, means it's burning up. And it's the warmest in more than 1,000 years, according to new ice core data. Clear signatures of global warming. The only problem is, for the last 3 years, Greenland has been gaining ice in record territory above the 30-year median. Here we can see the 30-year baseline for ice gain on the continent. And even now, this year, for the last 5 months, Greenland has been in record territory, at some points exceeding the 30-year maximum several times during the last 5 months. And yet they could print an article like this and claim they have integrity. It's mind-boggling. More mind boggles. A moose that is known as the ghost moose. In this article, they say with a rare coloring is seen by Fish and Game surveying the interior of Alaska. And here we can see the ghost moose in question. And this is the progenitor of massive shifts in the earth, according to the ancients, or the indigenous people of North and South America. So it has been spotted. Now, a study may have solved the mystery of the Nazca lines. And when I read this study, my mind was blown. Because they conclude that researchers are convinced that the Nazca lines were used as an ancient form of communication. Who knew? I thought these people were just drawing pictures for themselves, I guess. But I do digress. Lasers are mapping Scotland's mysterious Iron Age passages, and they have incredible pictures of these shafts and adits. Now, what does this all mean? It means LiDAR is the future of anthropology and archaeology, as ancient Maya cities' superhighways have been revealed in the latest LiDAR studies. And we're not fuddy-duddies. Here we take a look. Laser technology is revealing the world's first highway system, well, the earliest known highway system, according to the world, or the earliest known highway system being revealed to the world by the powers that be. And this is in the Mayan zone of Guatemala and Mexico, where they have these amazing pictures of what it must have been looking like in the times of yore. As you were driving down the Mayan highway without the technology of the wheel or metals or anything else, you're just driving down this highway in a vehicle with no wheels to get to the next city, according to the current experts. Now, here is the system of Mayan highways, which were apparently just used for strolling. And I can believe that. Maybe these are the most awesome trails ever created for humans to walk, run, and drag stuff on sleds with no wheels. But they do manage to go for tens of miles in all directions from city to city. So there is that. Now, Norway archaeologists find the world's oldest rune stone in Copenhagen, Denmark. Archaeologists in Norway said Tuesday that they have found a rune stone which they claim is the world's oldest, saying the inscriptions could be before the time of Christ, up to 2,000 years old, and date back to the earliest days of the enigmatic history of runic writing. Now, a new tiny laser could be a game changer in the hunt for alien life. Nanu. A team led by University of Maryland created a miniature analyzer that could fundamentally alter how distant moons, planets, and other objects are investigated for signs of life. And you're looking at it as space missions explore the outer solar system. They need analytical tools that are smaller and use less energy and are more accurate. This is especially true since the search for ET, extraterrestrial life, in habitable planets and moons is still ongoing and is actually in its infancy. But here in a paper, laser desorption mass spectrometry with the Orbitrap analyzer for in situ astrobiology. Mind blown. This paper being released 2 days ago. This device will enable us to find tiny little aliens. So they say. Now, physicists say this is the best place to hide indoors from a nuclear shockwave. Now, why would we need to revisit this since the 1950s? Well, apparently they're preparing for the boom. Now, an explosion could vaporize people caught within the initial fireball, which could extend just over a half a mile around the bomb. Within 10 seconds, the researchers found the blast would create a shockwave bubble almost 3 miles in radius at ground level. This wave would kick up winds strong enough to kill or maim people unlucky enough to be stuck outside. And it could even knock down some flimsier buildings. Concrete reinforced buildings would largely remain intact. The team went out to find, but not necessarily everyone inside them would survive. Now, according to the study, the danger to people inside concrete reinforced buildings that withstand the blast was unclear, according to Demetrius, whatever his name is. Now, the study shows that high airspeeds remain considerable hazard. So if you're within 3 miles of a nuclear blast in a concrete building and you think you would live, well, according to the study, you may not. But if you want to know more, please read the study, because we don't plan to be near a nuclear blast, and I hope you don't either. But more nonsense coming out from the military-industrial complex. DARPA wants to develop a drug to make people resistant to extreme cold. Now, why in the world would the deep state and DARPA want to create a drug to make people resistant to extreme cold in a global warming world? Hello! Read the paper. Now, we caught him, and we're talking about the CEO of Pfizer, Albert Bourla, and they caught him at Davos. And Ezra Levant got up and ignorant and right in his face. It was a disgrace. This scumbag, who's killed thousands of people on Earth with his fake claims and his fake schmanking, has nothing to say.
Mr. Bourla, can I ask you, when did you know that the vaccines didn't stop transmission? How long did you know that without saying it publicly?
Thank you very much.
I'm sorry. To that question. I mean, we now know that the vaccines didn't stop transmission, but why did you keep it secret? You said it was 100% effective, then 90%, then 80%, then 70%. But we now know that the vaccines do not stop transmission. Why did you keep that secret?
Have a nice day.
I won't have a nice day until I know the answer. Why did you keep it a secret that your vaccine did not stop transmission?
Is it time to apologise to the world, sir? To give refunds back to the countries that poured all their money into your vaccine that doesn't work, your ineffective vaccine?
Yeah, you have a little bit around.
Are you not ashamed of what you've done in the last couple of years?
Do you have any apologies to the public, sir?
Are you proud of it? You've made millions on the backs of people's entire livelihoods. How does that feel to walk the streets as a millionaire on the backs of the regular person at home in Australia, in England, in Canada?
What do you think about on your yacht, sir? What do you think about on your private jet? Are you worried about product liability? Are you worried about myocarditis?
What about the sudden deaths?
What do you have to say about young men dropping dead of heart attacks every day? Why won't you answer these basic questions?
Time to cross the road, folks.
No apology, sir?
Do you think you should...
This is how these scumbags operate. They don't answer questions. The same reason the President of the United States walks away from the camera when the questions get tough. Now, if you're dealing with and struggling with dealing with these issues, you're not alone. And there is help, but it's not from the pharmaceutical, medical, industrial complex. It comes from within. It comes from meditation. And not only will it help heal all of your issues, it can help heal all of your ailments. And a new study shows the impact on gut, bacteria, and overall health. The practice of meditation may help regulate gut microbiome and lower the risk of ill health, according to a study of Buddhist monks. And this may be the key on why I haven't been sick for the last 12 years. Not only do I eat whole foods that I grow and naturally source from people I know, but I meditate. And I recommend you all try it now. And that's a boom to knowledge. Proper prior planning prevents piss poor performance. We love each and every one of you. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Share this with like-minded people. Become a Patreon. Support the work we do. We love you. Be safe. And that's a boom.